I'm a master Katarina one trick, and I'm going to give you tips and tricks I've learned through my years of playing using the games that I play. I'm going to go over a lot of important stuff, so eventually you can start applying them to your games and climb as well. I do coaching, Patreon, YouTube members, and run a second channel if y'all are interested. Everything's in the description below. So here we have a game against Fizz. This game's around D2 MMR. And I went Conquer, but I also went Resolve Tree, because I like bone plating against Fizz. And you're going to see that mainly with Fizz, his trading pattern is going to be him queuing in and trying to trade with you, but the bone plating is going to help you mitigate that damage to help you win the trades. So it allows you to not get super hard bullied by the Fizz. Here I also went into Longsword, and I think Longsword start is fine even if you're not going to go into AD. You can just get it for the AD adaptive. You can even go D-Blade as well, but I personally prefer Longsword because Longsword gives you 3 pots, and I like having the extra sustain. This game, I ended up going into Riftmaker. So I went Nashor's Riftmaker and then just went into full AP from there because I felt like they had a pretty tanky team. And so I think going into Riftmaker is pretty good. So we start off the laning phase here. Not much you can do against Fizz. Now, the thing with Fizz is that level 1, he can actually E and dodge your Q if you try to like Q anything, right? So because he has that kind of pressure, you want to like wait it out and see what he gets. But also, he can win the trade and pop your bone plating, hit electrocute if he gets a really good E off you level 1. And there's not really much you can do. He can even use E to dodge your Q, right? So if you see here, he actually has W. You can tell on the mark on the minion. So because of that, I'm able to walk up and just safely farm. So I try to go for a Q pokes here and there because it's pretty free. As long as I'm able to grab the minions. You know, in this laning phase, I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of minions just to get poked, but it ends up paying off. So I'm autoing the minions in front of him. He has W, so there's no real pressure. Every time it walks up for farm, I'm just going to Q him. And just try to stay out of his auto range because he can still hit you with electrocute if he auto W's autos. So you got to be careful for that. So notice that I'm still hitting the minions because I want to hit 2. I don't want him to hit 2 and then me not hit 2 because it puts a lot of pressure on me. Get another Q poke there. Trying to prevent him from crashing the wave too hard. And so if you see here, the wave's in a pretty good spot. So I'm going to keep poking him with Qs. He hits the resolve. And then he hits the electrocute, but I actually come out on that trade. Now you can see here. He goes in for an electrocute trade. I have resolve. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit him with an auto Yato. And if you see, we actually come out on the trade on top. So that's why I like going bone plating. So the wave is still pushing in. Got to keep that in mind. Still poking him with Qs. He hits level 3. I don't want to like contest that at all. Hit him with another Q here. So here, Fizz hits me with the recall. And then he starts doing something stupid. So you'll see. Q's in. Now just going for the all-in. Ignites. Flash. E-auto Q. And he's dead. Now, the problem with this trade is that Fizz, he goes in knowing that I don't have bone plating. So my bone plating is gone. So he can go for an electrocute trade and thinks he can just immediately get out. But the thing is, when he's under tower like this, he has to E out. He can't hit me with his E as long as I position myself under the tower. If he E's onto me under the tower, obviously he's going to take a tower shot and die. So he's going to E out. The thing is, I have Conquer, I have Longsword, I have EW up, right? So I can just go in right after because I know that his E is not going to hit me. So that's a lot of his damage gone. So I capitalize on that. And then I just jump in. And just go for the all-in right then and there. So that was a pretty bad mistake by Fizz, even though it was super close. And now we have the wave here. We're 1 health, so it's kind of scary. I don't think I can stay to like actually shove out the wave and shove out the next wave. I don't even have the items for it, right? So what I do here is I keep the wave here in the middle and I just back. This way the wave stays here and Fizz has to walk up eventually, but also the wave is like kind of frozen. All I have to do is run back and come back into lane as soon as possible. And my wave should be in a good spot. So I get the blasting wand here. I go back into lane. I'm going to start building into Nashor's Tooth. And the blasting wand's going to be pretty good for the Q pokes and trying to shove waves, which is going to help a lot against Fizz. And as you can see, the way the wave looks, it looks great, right? The wave looks like it's in a great spot. I can hold it here, and the minion wave's coming in, so this way Fizz has to walk up, I can start getting aggressive, or Trundle can gank. So it's a good time. So I come back into lane, Fizz comes back into lane. Lane's looking good. And then we have Trundle coming in. So we're just going to follow that up. Obviously, Fizz is just going to E out, it is what it is. But it's the whole idea of it, of putting pressure on the Fizz, knowing that he has to walk up for the farm for him to actually, like, you know, push in the wave or get some minions, get some EXP. And Trundle is able to walk in and pressure him. So it's the idea, it's the concept of it that's important. Now, if you see here, when the wave gets really big like this, you just want to shove it in and have it bounce back into you. But at this point, I know that I'm going to get priority. So with this big wave here, I'm just going to like shove it in, crash it into tower, and then I'm going to see what I can do afterwards. So I'm already pre-planning this right now. So I see Trundle ganking bottom, so I'm like looking at that. So we push in the wave, and then I start going bottom. Taric's there. Taric's a jungler, by the way. And then we have MF there. Taric goes like deep in, and I'm down and going. Taric actually ends up dying, and I'm like, okay, can we try to like get some kind of CC on MF? But she actually just full backs, probably ping me back. And so because of that, I'm just gonna back. Now it's important when you roam that you come back into lane quick, because you don't want to lose any EXP. EXP minimum. You might lose some farm here and there, but you know, you trade a bit of farm for some pressure, right? So now we have the wave at this position, and I'm like, I'm not really sure if Fizz is backing or not. So if Fizz is not backing, then it'd be good to keep it here, because I could just hold it here. Also, the minion waves are even. So if that's the case, then he's going to be losing CS. So because I don't know where Fizz is, I'm just going to hold the wave here. And if anything, I just like gather 2 minion waves and then just push it in all together and look for the back. We're just going to hold it here. We're actually almost level 6 as well, so keep that in mind. Again, holding the wave here is going to force Fizz to walk up. So then Fizz comes in, and I hit 6. And from this point, I'm pretty sure he's dead, right? Like he didn't expect me to hit 6. And so he's hitting my bone plating. There's no way he kills me here. I'm 6. I'm looking for the kill angle right now. I have the dagger set up there already. E. And then EW ult. Ignites. Just burst him down. And now this guy gets fucked even more, because now there's a big wave under his tower. He just backed, came back, died. And so kind of unfortunate for him. So now we're back into lane. We have Fizz here. Again, we have the wave in front of our tower. So having this position in front of our tower constantly is going to put a lot of pressure on Fizz, especially if we have like bone plating, and especially if we're ahead. It's going to make it so that Fizz is like too scared to walk up her farm. So this is really good position for us. But again, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like let these 2 waves gather, and then I'm just going to shove it in all together. And as you can see here, Trundle is actually taking drag, so me getting priority here is gonna guarantee the dragon, because that means that Fizz can't interfere. That means that, like, if they were to try to fight at drag, we're gonna have a man up, because Fizz is stuck under tower. If Fizz comes here to try to fight with the big wave under the tower, he's gonna lose EXP. So overall, it's a win-win for us, and we get the drag for free. Now we're back in lane, and Fizz actually goes for a trade here. Into my bone plating, I'm pretty strong. I'm like super down to fight this. And so he goes in, and I'm just watching for his E. So he E's over, and what I do is I'm expecting him to E away from my daggers. So then he E's actually closer to the other dagger, so I wait, and I walk in, and then I ult. This way, I'm able to burn flash. So a lot of times with Fizz, it's just the fact that like, when you... And he throws the ult and it just misses, so, I mean, throwing like a ranged ult like that is really easy to dodge, so as long as you're at a good distance, it's fine. But you also gotta keep in mind that when Fizz doesn't have E, that's your opening to ulti, especially if you're in a good position to do it, because that's the main thing that's gonna cuck you. Now, look at this play here. Fizz is hitting the wave, and you can tell he's hitting like each minion one by one. And when he does something like this, that means he's gonna E the wave. And like I said before, if his E is down, you can actually go in for a trade, because it's a lot harder for him to cuck you. That's a big part of his damage, because he maxes E first. It helps him to shove the wave. So with those things in mind, we're just going to wait for him to just like E the wave. And then we're just going to go in for a trade. Boom. And then we just go in, EWQ. Boom. big trade, right? And now look at this wave position. Here, he gets a little bit crazy because he's just gonna try to go for this cannon. And so I hard pressure this. So I just wait in front of the cannon, wait for it to get low, and then I set up the Q. And then he E's on top of it. And then we just go for the kill. So again, just using minion waves. And he's gonna lose another wave for this. We're using minions to pretty much manipulate his movement, or at least know what he's gonna try to do. We're gonna pressure him to just like tell him like, hey, you can't get the CS. If you get the CS, I'm gonna like hit you. So it's important to do that like constantly. So we're back in lane. Fizz is back as well. We're stronger than this guy. We're not like, we still can't like hard bully him just because he's like, he still has his E, right? So if anything, we go for small trades and we just try to make sure that, you know, he stays in lane. And again, me just having this pressure is going to allow me to like get objectives for my team, because Trundle's getting Rift. He will start Rift once he knows that like I have the power in the lane, right? Once I have the priority. And so just off of me having all this pressure in the mid lane, it's allowing Trundle to get these objectives. Now we're holding the position in front of the wave, in front of the tower once again. And I kind of want to do something to the Fizz here. I think this is a good time to do it. But I actually go for a pretty bad trade here. We see Taric come out as well, so I had to flash here, flash the Fizz ult. So this is a bad spot now. Like I put myself in a pretty bad spot here. And so I'm just waiting for Pyke to come because he's here. Yeah, she goes in for the hook. And then we go in. And then this gets a little crazy here. I go in for the Fizz. He almost one-shots me, but then I heal up with the Triumph. Now at this point, we can get our Nashor's Tooth. We got our Merc Treads as well. We actually went into Merc Treads here this game because I felt like the MR, the extra MR, is going to be good against the Fizz. And I guess potentially other people like the Taric and stuff. But it was mainly for the Fizz and the fact that they have like a good amount of CC. They have Thresh, they have Taric, and Poppy Stun. And so I thought it was a pretty good buy. And it helps me become a little bit defensive. I'd be kind of against defensive boots sometimes if I felt like I didn't have the damage for it and I needed more damage. But here in this case, because I'm starting to snowball, I think it's good to go Mercs. Now we push into wave. Fizz is clearing a ward, and I'm like, okay, I could definitely like try to punish this guy. I walked a little too close there, so he was able to get out. But Pyke is coming. Fizz doesn't have E right now. And so I think Pyke's looking for something here. Fizz gets aggressive. I just hit him. Again, the MR is helping a lot here. Fizz actually goes in, kills a Pyke, which is kind of unfortunate. So Fizz just getting like little random kills off of the enemies or off of my teammates. It is what it is. Fizz is really low. He's looking to stay on the wave to try to get the EXP, and Thresh is here to sort of help him get it. So I'm just like, okay. I mean, I'm trying to look for an angle here, right? Like maybe I can like kill the Fizz, but I think past the Thresh I couldn't really do anything. But even then, I still try to itch at the idea, like here. Just waste his time, because that's going to prevent him from coming back into lane as soon as possible, right? So the more I waste his time, the more this wave's going to get denied right here. Like he's not going to be able to grab it. Now, we can go down here, because Olaf is fighting. And then I'm going to go down. I should have walked through the tower, but it's fine. Actually, it's not fine, because if you see here, Poppy actually comes out of nowhere and just stuns me, and I die. So that's kind of an unfortunate series of events, but it is what it is. I mean, at least it's going to the Poppy. Like, at least it's not going on the Fizz. At least it's not going on the MF. So honestly, not the worst. So we're going to start working into our Rift Maker, come back into lane. And we're actually pretty strong right now. Our whole team is pretty ahead. And so we're just trying to look for the good fights and try to see if we can end the game. Try to look for more opportunities to get objectives. So we're just going to keep the wave like constantly shoved in the mid lane. And try to look for opportunities on the map. It's good to make plays with your team. So right now, going down with the Pyke, and I also see the Trundle there as well. So I'm roaming with the Pyke because Pyke can initiate for me. So we go in on the Fizz. Boom. And we go in an ult, and we actually kill 2. It's really good. And we try to get more here. Pyke ends up dying. They get a TP, and so we're just gonna back off from this. Now after that, we go into the mid lane because Ezreal's pushing. Thresh is around. Just hovering around the Ezreal, making sure that he can kind of secure this. And just walk away. But actually don't end up walking away. I thought maybe I could just walk away from the Poppy, but what ended up happening was Poppy was able to catch up and actually just kill me. So I know I had flash here, but I was kind of hesitant on flashing. I think I should have flashed here because what ends up happening is Olaf is actually doing the rift, right? So if Olaf's doing the rift, they start collapsing and you're going to see this team fight's going to go bad because I actually died there. So Taric actually gets the rift here. And because I'm not on the map, they just wipe our team. So yeah, hit your flash, guys. Especially when your team's looking for an objective. Like, hit your flash, stay alive, stay on the map so that, you know, shit like this doesn't happen. So they just got rift and they dropped in mid lane. And so I'm like fresh to fight actually. So I want to look for something here. Kill the rift. Go in. We see Pyke. So just going for the E ulti. And I tried to outplay the situation. Ended up not. But it's actually super worth it because Pyke was able to follow up here and actually grab 3 kills. So that was really good. We actually got a lot of money off that through the Pyke gold. So then we're actually able to finish the Rift Maker off that. And we're actually able to get the dragon as well. So now we're back on the map and now we're just going to look for opportunities here. We see Trundle pushing, hard pushing bottom. And so I'm going to hover around the mid lane here. There's no real lane for me to go. Like Olaf's top lane, Trundle's bot lane, Ezreal's taking mid lane. So I'm going to try to like be a little bit rat and just like run around the jungle. So if you see here, Ezreal actually tries to get jumped on by the Fizz. And so we're just going to be here to help him out here. Pyke goes in here. Fizz misses the ult on me. Hits the Pyke. He actually dies. So then Fizz flashes out. But then I'm going to use like the ulti vision that I get. And I'm just like spamming my E on the Fizz where I think he is. So I'm kind of tracking him with my mouse. And then I'm going to like spam my E on him. And then he E's again. And then I'm able to catch up through these Krugs. God bless. So we're able to pick up another kill. And now with Fizz off on the map, we have Olaf getting jumped on. So I'm going to try to help him out here. So we're going to run down. Trundle's on the flank. It's looking really good. And then we can use this just to kill both. So we eat WQ. Or just QE. Q ult. E. And then kill the Thresh. MF ult here. I just jumped the fuck out. And now it's looking really good. We're actually in a really good position to get the Baron here. So I'm going to back here because I'm too low. I'm going to buy. And then I'm going to come and help with the Baron. But the Baron should be essentially free here. So then here I actually decided to go into damage because I felt like at this point I just need to kill the Fizz and the MF. And, you know, going into something like Demonic's pretty good to like buff up the Rift Maker, but I think just going into damage is fine because I'm so fed to where like I don't even need Rift Maker to proc at this point. I just have to like have the damage just to like kill them. So I think that's fine with me. So we get the Baron and then we look for our next play. I'm fresh on the map, so I'm gonna like try to see if I can hover around this Fizz here, but I think Fizz just ends up backing here. And then again, I'm just like scoping out opportunities because I have time. So I'm gonna be hovering around like my teammates to see where I can go. So we see Fizz roaming mid lane, goes on the Ezreal. I think he does end up dying here, even through the exhaust. So I'm gonna go in. Fizz actually gets a double here, but we're gonna able to pick that up, and then we just follow up onto the Thresh. We're able to kill him as well. So we went 2 for 2 there. But the thing is, like, we're really strong, right? And we have Baron, so this is actually a really good position for us. Considering that I can deal with like a lot of the champs they have right now. I can deal with the Poppy, I can deal with the Taric, I can deal with the MF here. So this is gonna open like Olaf up just to like pressure the bot side too, just for me like pushing in. And so I kind of wanted to try something because I have my ulti coming up in 2, so I'm like, okay, let's try to monkey something. And it was almost looking really scary, but thank God I have Mercs, right? Boom. So the Merc treads by paying off here. Poppy actually tries to come try to kill me, but I just go for a wall up here. She has deadmans and stuff, so it's like she had the movement speed to catch up. I'm healing up with my red buff. And my team collapses, and this actually ends up working out super well. We're going on the Fizz here. And then we start looking to reset on everyone else. So this play actually ended up working out super well. But with those kills, we're just going to push in the mid lane. 3 of them are down, so we're going to look to push in the inhib here with the Baron buff as well. Grab the inhib. We have Dragon coming up. Now, I thought we were doing drag, but we're actually not. So Pyke actually wants to make a pick, which makes a lot of sense. The enemies might walk in because we're on our 4th drag, and so we're just going to try to get extra picks from here just to like pressure. And so here, the Q, boom, and we kill the Thresh as well on top of the Taric. And now we can get drag for free. So here's another little detail. So in this position here, Thresh throws the lantern onto the Taric, and so if Taric gets pulled by the lantern, then they're both going to be here, right? So then if I just throw the Q and time it to where it would hit the Taric and then follow through the lantern, the dagger would actually land here. So then if you see, I just throw the Q, boom. We're actually able to follow up and kill the Thresh as well. So just a little detail. Just throwing the raw Q and knowing when to use it is actually pretty good. Now we're back, and we actually end up buying the death cap here, and then we're also going to get the stopwatch. So the needless paying off. I think going death cap is completely fine here because I'm just trying to nuke people down regardless, and as long as I'm able to nuke down the MF and the Fizz, we're fucking good, right? And then just get the stopwatch because I'm good for the damage. Just a little bit defensive is just going to be really annoying for them to deal with. So for here, I'm just pushing top, just making sure it pushes in. So we can pressure like the top and bot side, but we also see a team fight happening on the bot side here, or on the top side jungle here. So then I go and follow up on this. I Q. This ends up living here, I believe. But we're able to get the Taric here, and so we're going to use this to push in. Now we see only Fizz and MF, right? Fizz goes in on the Olaf, and I'm like, okay, I'm going in. Kill the Fizz. And like I said, as long as I build to like kill them both, then it should be fine. That's enough pressure. We're just getting rid of all their damage, and we're actually just going to end the game off this. So honestly, really good game. There was a lot of good like wave management. So if you guys can look into that, you guys would actually learn a lot and sort of understand how the waves work.